vibes gone done, we kill a sound boy for fun. Big bad man from outer England. Bassline drum I tell you, bassline.
Badda. There you go, Buffalo. Camera time, my man. Let's go.
Bad from me, man. Where you get your man from? Thing when me get. Gonna come from Afghanistan. They don't want to see this cross. Make me up in my hand. But man, you know me vibes can't done. Lyrics in my fire like a bullet from a gun. Big badda man from outer England. When me lyrics on fire, watch a song.
Yo, walk with the rapper pam pam. From a guy just stay program. Shot a slam. Them say them a bad man, me a fi hard. Which one? When we a fire shot, pull pin and fling rum. Them dead me a fi trample them like kings. Dogs pull up on your foot and none of them a sing. Some dollar clav up on face. Matic in a hand, we not have time for waste. With the rapper pam pam, shot a slam me better than.
Nobody better than we.
Badda done.
Kia ora e te iwi, welcome to UFC on Sky. You've been watching highlights from UFC 295 at Madison Square Garden on the weekend with one word to describe it: wow. The main card was the fastest of the year, with total fight time only lasting 21 minutes and 33 seconds because all 5 fights ended in KO, including that of Alex Pereira, who claimed the light heavyweight title.
It's a great honor for me, especially being here in Madison Square Garden. It's a historical place for me. This means a lot to me. For my family, I want to thank all.
Well, sir, congratulations to you.
Bom, eu queria, eu nunca sou de chamar ninguém, mas eu acho que, queria uma luta aí que é interessante para mim e seria interessante, eu tenho certeza que vai ser para todo mundo. É uma pessoa que, de alguma forma, me incentivou quando eu estava em um bar bebendo e ele em um vídeo falou que eu iria ficar em um bar, mas ele me resgatou. Esse cara também falou recente que vai voltar só em 2027. E eu também, da forma que ele me resgatou, eu quero resgatar esse cara porque ele é um talento, ele não pode ficar esse tempo todo parado. É o Adesanya.
Well, I'm not the type of guy that call people out, but there's a guy that back in the days he made some interview and say that I was going to be a guy that just stay in a bar, so that motivated me, and he rescued me from a bar to be here today. This guy said that he just want to come back fighting 2027. I think he's a very talented guy. He's a waste of talent, so I want to rescue him too, to come here and fight.
Com todo respeito, eu não vou fazer que nem o Adesanya fez eu fazer 3 lutas para mim estar disputando cinturão com ele. Ele pode vir agora e vamos disputar esse cinturão. Eu sei que é um pouco estranho, o campeão chamando, mas ainda eu tenho uma história para acertar.
I know that I'm not going to do what he did to me, make me fight 3 times to fight him on middleweight. I know he's a guy that have a history, so I'm going to make it happen in this fight.
Hey Adesanya, come to daddy.
Come back fighting 2027. I think he's a very talented guy. He's a waste of talent, so I want to rescue him too, to come here and fight.
I wish he spoke English. I wish he spoke English.
I know that I'm not going to do what he did to me, make me fight 3 times to fight him on middleweight. I know he's a guy that have a history, so I'm going to make it happen in this fight.
Hey Adesanya, come to daddy.
I thought it was being wholesome.
And for anybody worried about Izzy and all this and that, he might jump the line. Izzy already messaged me. He messaged me the same night that it happened. And he already let him. He's all yours. Yeah, all mine. Alex is nobody's. Alex, it's right here, bro. It's right here. There is nobody else. It's just me.
While we are all here for this rivalry, UFC President Dana White has announced that Jamal Hill will be the next in line to compete for the light heavyweight title, also considering Adesanya has announced he will be on an extended break. To the co-main event, and it had the biggest shots and shock of the night when the Brit Tom Aspinall got the job done over Sergey Pavlovich.
Well, Tom, congratulations. Obviously, kind of a whirlwind 2.5 weeks, I imagine, for you. I mean, have you even had a chance to process what exactly just unfolded for you?
No. Simply no. I think this will take a while to sink in, to be honest. It's been an absolutely crazy 2.5 weeks. I've been saying, I can tell people now, I basically didn't have any training camp at all. I wasn't really in the best shape. I got the call like 3-4 days after I pulled my back really bad. I couldn't barely even move or do anything. And yeah, it's been some, and I didn't have a visa as well. It's been some 3 weeks, let me tell you. It's been absolutely insane.
Last one for me. I know you said that you kind of want to take some time, and John Jones is the target, but Cyril Gane's calling you out, says he wants to fight.
Oh, that's interesting. After I just called him out, went to France, and he turned the fight down.
Any interest?
I think he should fight Almeida. I think them guys should fight each other first and see what happens there.
That's awesome. Last thing for me, I know you're going to want to take some time to just enjoy this. But have you started thinking about what's next? Because it seems like it's kind of a weird picture, right? Dana was here earlier, and he says, we still got to do John and Stipe. So, I asked him, would Tom defend the interim title? He's like, I don't know. He's got some money. He'll sit around. Have you started mapping it out, like what you would like to do now?
No, I've not really thought about that, to be honest. I didn't think about anything like that before this fight at all. Like, I was aware of what I was up against tonight with Sergey. This is a guy that I know personally because I'm involved in these circles kind of at the top of the division. Nobody wants to fight that guy. Cut all bullshit aside, nobody wants to fight that guy. There's champions turning him down. So I knew what I was up against tonight, and I couldn't think past Sergey. So the guy's an absolute machine. And right now, I just want to chill for a bit, man. To be honest, we'll see what happens. But ultimately, I want to fight John Jones.
And Australian flyweight Steve Erceg headlined the preliminary card and came away with a decision win over Alessandro Costa. Steve joins me now because he's still in New York. Kia ora, Steve, and congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good to be back.
Steve, I want to start by asking you, how was the experience as a whole to be competing at an iconic venue like Madison Square Garden, let alone getting the win?
Yeah, it was very cool. Like, the crowd was much louder than my last fight, so it was cool to hear that. Walking into the venue and knowing all the history behind it was, it was sort of surreal. And as far as the win, it's not the win. I got the win. I'm super grateful. Not the way I wanted to get it done. But yeah, it's cool to, according to Dan Hooker, have my face put on the wall there for forever. So that's pretty cool.
Were you able to get some family and friends over to watch you?
So I had my mum and my girlfriend came over, and then we had a couple of people from the gym come over. I can't remember exactly how many, but at least 4, I think. At least 4.
I know it's only fresh off of your win, but have you had time to sit down and debrief with the team about how the fight went?
Yes, my coaches were very much getting on to me to just be happy. We can talk about things to work on later, but of course, I'm very hard on myself. So, it is what it is. The big thing for me was my grappling held up really well, which, although I have faith in it, I never know how I'm going to stack up against these guys. The guy that I fought is quite an accomplished jiu-jitsu guy, so to see he did get on top of me at one point. He attempted his favourite and best submission. I got out of it pretty easily, so that was good to see. Defensively, my striking, some of the stuff that my striking didn't come off too well, and I got hit and made pay for it. So offensively, it worked well, but defensively, I need to work on my footwork and my head movement and different stuff there. So lots to work on.
Do you think that had anything to do with a shorter prep time, considering he was a short notice opponent?
Nah, not at all. I don't really look at last minute change and stuff that big of a deal. I'm not going in there with like a solidified plan. I have to do this. I have to do this. I think that's when last minute things like mix things up. Whereas I'm going in there where I have I have a depth of skill. I have different weapons I can call upon depending on the opponent. So I think it was just he did well and I did some things poorly, and that's how it went.
And how do you feel you coped with the occasion? It was a huge card after all.
I feel like I handle pressure pretty well. So it's always seemed like the fights where I've had the most pressure, where I'm the most scared beforehand, I always find a way to talk myself back to confidence, stuff like that. So I didn't feel that affect me in any way.
You do seem like you are your own biggest critic though, but pushing yourself and challenging yourself to do better, right?
I'd be a lot more sour if I had lost the fight, that's for sure. I'm still happy, but I have a lot to work on, so it's good.
Well, this is the top 15 of the UFC after all, Steve, so I don't blame you at all. Look, did Costa come at you with anything that perhaps surprised you?
He was very aggressive, I guess, is the thing he did the best. Like, I was picking him apart on the outside, using what I thought was a more technical skill set. And then at some point during the second round, he just went, screw it, I'm going to swing and run forward at you. And that worked well for him. So that's honestly the biggest thing I'd say that he did well. I thought I'd be good enough that when he did that, because I did expect him to do it at some point, that I was going to make him really pay for it. But I didn't make the angles I should have made. And I tried to stand there with him a little bit too long. So.
And now you're 2 from 2 in the UFC. You've gone up to the ranking of 13, 10 wins on the trot. What is next? Are you perhaps looking at a top 10 opponent?
I want the biggest challenges I can take. So top 10 would be nice. Somebody in the top 15 for sure. I just want that. Whoever thinks they're good, I want them, basically.
You're still so fresh to the UFC as well, quite new. So what have you made of the level up of UFC competition in comparison to what you're used to competing against locally?
Yeah, everybody's just a little bit better everywhere. So things that, I mean, I'd have more obvious holes to exploit when I'm fighting on the turn compared to here. Everybody, even though they're not a striker, they have some striking. They might not be a wrestler, but they can defend a takedown. It's just everything's a little bit higher. I have to be a little bit better to make sure I can capitalize on their mistakes.
UFC 296, the next big pay-per-view, sees the flyweight title up for grabs between Pantoja and Brandon Royval. What are your predictions there?
I predict Pantoja just because he is the champ. That does something to people's confidence for sure. He had no quit and such a huge hype before that anyway, and he ground game really good. So I'm going to give it to Pantoja.
Yeah, I might have to agree with you on that one. Look, before I let you go, last conversation we had, I asked you if you had any of that New York pizza. You said you weren't able to. Have you been able to get downstairs and indulge a little?
I sure have. I've eaten everything I can get my hands on. Even when I'm not hungry, I'm like, I might as well get a meal right now. So, hopefully I'm going to get to 70 kilos. That's the end.
Well, Christmas is around the corner, so you still have a chance of reaching that 70 kgs.
Exactly.
And fellow Australian countryman Jake Matthews will be competing in the welterweight division this weekend at Allen versus Craig UFC Fight Night in Nevada against Michael Morales. And friend of the show, Jake Matthews, joins us now. Kia ora, Jake, and welcome to the show.
No, my pleasure. You're keeping me busy. There's a lot of waiting around here, so it's good fun to do some interviews.
Now, Jake, I know you are laser focused with your fight this weekend, but I'm wondering if you caught UFC 295 at the weekend.
We did. We made sure that we watched the main card. I'm a big Yuri Prohaska fan. I just for some reason he just resonates with me. I love his energy. I was a bit, whoever won, I was going to be happy. I love Pereira as well, but it would have been good to see Yuri get back in and win his title. And it was a crazy event all around. A lot of knockouts. Tom Aspinall getting the knockout as well that quick. I didn't expect that either.
And what did you make of the results?
Yeah, I mean, I thought, I sort of had Pavlich down, so if there were any people asking for my tips that night, it wouldn't have been very good.
We just spoke to flyweight Steve Erceg. Of course, he's Australian as well. Got the win at Madison Square Garden. What are your thoughts on the talent that is coming out of Australia at the moment?
Yeah, it was almost still considered. People still called it like no holds barred fighting when I started, or cage fighting. Whereas now the athletes are given the recognition they deserve. We're true athletes, just as much as any other sport. And I think a lot of the behind the scenes footage helps with that. They see that we're normal guys. We've got families, we've got kids. I've got 3 kids at home myself. We don't just get locked in a cupboard after the fights till the next fight. We actually have lives. That was kind of the vibe around fighters back then. So it's come a long way. Perth was always a little bit behind with MMA, but with Erceg and Jack Della as well. They're definitely on the map now. A lot of gyms have opened up there, so it's and that's the main thing is good quality gyms opening up, gyms working together, the best guys getting together, training together. Back when I was coming up, everyone went overseas to train, and my thoughts were, if we all leave and go overseas, the sport's never going to progress here. So myself, Dan Kelly, a few other boys, we started training out of Dan Kelly's gym and trying to get all the best guys to come down and train. Even if there's a conflict of interest, it's in the interest of the sport to train together. And it's come a long way since then. So, like I said, if we all had just kept going overseas to train, it's not really going to progress here.
Now, you'll be facing Michael Morales this weekend. What do you make of him as a fighter? He's undefeated in the UFC so far.
Yeah, I mean, like we apart from the strategy and the opponent, not much changes. I've been in the UFC for 10 years, so I've obviously done something right, considering like the average UFC career span is 3 fights on average in about 18 months. So I've had 19 fights and almost 10 years. So in regards to training, I think we've done something right. The body's still as strong as ever, and now it's just about implementing the maturity. Every year I get older, we get more mature. Every time I have a fight, we feel that maturity coming into play, and this fight will be no different. He's the young up and comer. I'm the gatekeeper, I guess, and still an up and comer at the same time. So I just have that experience over him, which I hope to use on the night. And like as I said, one of us is going to move on to the rankings, and having the co-main event slot helps that as well. Getting there'll be a lot of eyes on, a lot of eyes watching this fight. It's probably one of the more anticipated fights of the night. And he's a big up and comer. I've been in his position before, where I was teetering on the edge of getting ranked, and the person I fought, their experience came into play, and that's what won them the fight. So that's what I'm banking on, is using my experience. 19 fights in the UFC, and that'll be my edge on Sunday.
How much confidence do you have off of your last win, your submission win over Darius Flowers in July this year?
Yeah, huge amount of confidence. A fight like that, you have more nerves and anxiety because it was a last minute replacement. You don't want to lose to a guy who's stepping in last minute. So, he had no pressure. I had all the pressure. And in this fight, Michael is the guy who's undefeated. He has the pressure. I don't have the pressure. I've been here before. I'm comfortable in the UFC. I'm comfortable fighting. I've fought a co-main before, so I'm comfortable fighting co-mains. I know how to win. I know how to lose. I know how to deal with adversity throughout the fight, as we've seen in my last few fights. So I just, all the pressure's on him. I just have to go out there, and the only pressure is I have to go there and perform. That's it. I don't have to worry about anything else. And that's the way I fight the best.
Now, you're just about to hit your 10-year anniversary being a part of the UFC. Jake Matthews making your debut actually right here in Auckland on the Te Huna Marquardt card all those years ago. I just wanted to know how much your experience, your UFC experience, plays into your fights at this point of your career.
Exactly, and even being going through adversity, I've had multiple fight of the night bonuses where we've had 3 rounds, we've fought hard, so I know I can do that. I've submitted guys. I've knocked guys out. I've been nearly knocked out myself in fights and come back to win fights. I've been, a few fights ago, I was knocked down every round in the fight and still came back to arguably win, the last 2 rounds. So I can push through adversity. I know that. Michael, that's something he has to find out. Being such a young guy, he has to still learn that.
I also saw that you converted to the Muslim religion not too long ago, a calling of sorts for you. I wanted to know how this has impacted perhaps your training, preparations and fighting with this new journey in life.
Yeah, thank you. So it's been a long journey. Like I reverted earlier this year in January. It's emerged again on Instagram. So everyone thinks I've just reverted, but it was actually back in January. But yeah, just the way I was brought up, the respect I have, the lifestyle choices that I made growing up before I become Muslim, it was as if I was a Muslim my entire life. And a lot of people would mention that. They say you're just like a Muslim. You got tattoos. They said, but everything you do is just like, I was always like never really ate pork, for example. I was always very adverse to drinking alcohol, probably getting drunk like twice in my life, and never enjoyed it. Always just focused on family, my health, and being a good person. So nothing really much changed apart from the worship side of things. And growing up, I'd say 95% of my friends have always been Muslim, and seeing their character and the way they act and the respect they have for others and their discipline was a big thing. Really spoke to me, and that's pretty much how it led me into Islam. And then I just did my own study, my own research, took my time. Took me about 3 years to actually accept it, and yeah. But now I definitely attribute that to the being able to fight through adversity, and accepting, and a big thing is also accepting defeat, because we believe as Muslims that there is a plan, and win, lose or draw, we say Alhamdulillah, we say thank you, and win, lose or draw, it's leading to better things for us. So it makes it easier to take a loss, and it also humbles you in victory as well.
Yep, very special indeed, and congratulations on that. Look, the next big pay-per-view event, UFC 296, the welterweight title is up for grabs. Of course, this is your division. Leon Edwards, the champion, up against Colby Covington. Who do you have winning that fight?
I like Leon Edwards. I'm a big fan of Leon Edwards. Being a fellow striker, his boxing. I still love boxing. Boxing is what I started with. I can go do wrestling and jiu-jitsu. I've got a black belt in jiu-jitsu, but I'll always come back to boxing. And his striking in the UFC, it's very, I call it very pure, if that makes sense. But it's like pure striking, pure boxing. And so I'm a big fan of his. Like Colby. I'm a fan of Colby's. What's the word, like his fitness and his drive in fights. Like there's no off switch for him. So there's always something you try and take from these fighters. And like I said, I'm favoriting Leon for this fight, but Colby's tough, and he just grinds people till they break. And so it'll be an interesting fight to see. But I think Leon either can get the decision or get a finish. Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, I won't say 100% because I don't want to jinx him, but. Yeah, you'd be my pick if I had to pick.
And finally, before I let you leave, Jake, your co-main event on UFC Fight Night this weekend, kind of a big deal. So what kind of performance are you wanting to put out there?
I'd love to make it to the 40th anniversary of the UFC if I could. And we just take it fight by fight. I've been in this situation a few times where this fight, the winner will fight a ranked opponent. So I've been here a number of times. Each time, we've learned. So hopefully this fight we get to, implement our adjustments, get the win, and move on to the rankings.
Well, all the very best for the weekend ahead. Go well.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
UFC Fight Night this weekend, Allen versus Craig. All the action kicks off at 11 a.m. The main card, of course, to start at 2 p.m. featuring Jake Matthews, the Australian welterweight, as the co-main event. All the action will be on ESPN2, so don't miss it. Hei kona mai.
The UFC returns with a battle between top-ranked middleweights. Scottish submission ace Paul Craig chases his 18th career stoppage victory as he takes on surging Contender Series standout Brendan Allen, hunting for his 19th win by finish. Plus, Amanda Ribas and Loana Pinedo throwdown. Don't miss UFC Fight Night. Live only on ESPN+.